Welcome back everybody to episode 13 of my Luck of the Irish series. This one's a pretty interesting film. I don't remember much from it. I'll do my best to do a proper review of it. This film was actually the director's cut of a film from 1963 called Dementia 13. It was directed by Francis Ford Coppola. He dropped the Ford from the name, and it was actually his debut feature. If you haven't heard of this film or the remake of this film, I'm not sure how close the stories are, but for this one, here's the synopsis. Shocked by the death of her spouse, a scheming widow hatches a bold plan to get her hands on the inheritance, unaware that she is targeted by an axe-wielding murderer who lurks in the family's estate. What mystery shrouds this noble house? Because it was only like 69 minutes, shorter than like the theatrical cut and stuff like that. Produced by Roger Corman, and it was filmed during the time of a Roger Corman film. I don't 100% know what film it was, and plus this version was, I guess, a 4K restoration. It just looked beautiful. The movie was well framed, and you gotta keep in mind, like, all these positives you don't normally get with a director's first feature film, but this really shows that Francis Coppola really had a talent for this thing. The filmmaking stuff at the time, it was perfectly lit. There's an opening title sequence that's very cool. It's well edited, and I'm not sure if there were glitches or whatever, but there was a weird effect in at least one scene where there was narration that was playing and there was a character on screen, and then there was like a glitch in the footage, and then, oh, it's actually that character speaking those words even though her mouth wasn't moving like 4 seconds earlier. Now, I'm not sure if that was intentional or it was just a encoding mistake or something, but it didn't really look like a mistake. Kind of fit in. There is narration on it, which is an interesting choice. Don't quote me on this, but I think most of it was through narration. I don't think there was much dialogue in it, or maybe I missed a bunch of it, or just not remembering it properly. It was well written. Cinematography is beautiful, which I'd say is very surprising for film that time, from like 1963, and from a first-time director. This was definitely a film that impressed me. The sets are well dressed. The story is believable. The acting is very believable. The movie kind of shines, especially with the audio mix, because it sounds so different than what a film from 1963 sounds like. Well, this was the restoration, and it just sounded just perfect. Especially when you compare it to other films from 1963. Sound wasn't that good, but I mean, this one, everything was crystal clear. It felt like a movie now, but with all like the footage from, like, it was like they re-recorded everything from scratch nowadays and just did a completely new audio mix, and somehow they managed to make it like just absolutely perfect. I don't know how good the original mix was prior to the 4K cut, but maybe I'll have to check that one out at some point. There's some transitions in the film that work very well. Fades, match cuts. The mystery of the film is well executed. It's actually well paced. I could say I was surprised at that, because watching a film from back then, nowadays, sometimes those films kind of feel a little on the slower side, but this one felt just right for the story. The effects were very good, especially for that time. Like, I don't remember any specifics. I think it was a low budget too, I'm not entirely sure, but either way, they used everything to their advantage. Perfect little film, you could say. It's not as high as some of the other ones I have. Maybe that's because of its age and stuff like that. I saw the 4K version as opposed to the original cut. The original look. Overall, I would give this film a 9 out of 10. I might change it later on, depending on how how well like the director's cut improved upon the theatrical cut that Roger Corman actually had a hand in putting together. Like I guess he produced a couple of scenes that were added, and the director's cut took that out. I'll have to check it out sometime and I'll do a comparison video. I saw this one on Amazon Prime. I'm sure you can get physical copy because I think that's what they made that version for, 4K one. I hope you enjoyed this review and hopefully you check this film out at some point. It's a very good debut feature from a well-established filmmaker. Hope you like this video. Give it a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you're new. Stay tuned for the rest of the stuff we got coming out in the coming days. I think we only got like 4 more reviews left. Stay tuned for those. I hope you like this entire series overall. Might do it again next month. We'll just have to see about that. See you in the next one.